cap on right?
Yes, sir.
Would you put on a Legion cap?
Yeah, I think that'd be different. See if I look like a Legionnaire. You need to buy me a cap, I'll pay you for
I'll
it.
give you that one.
Will you?
Yeah, if it fits.
Well, it's pretty loose. Do you think it'd work?
It'll work for right now.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yes, sir.
I guess I need to get my head measured done.
What I'm gonna do is ask you some questions,
All right,
and that, you just answer them.
all
And if
right.
there's anything you don't wanna answer, just say, let's pass.
I'll answer all of them.
Okay.
I was born to lie.
Today is October the 4th, 2024, and we're here at the American Legion Post 20 in Russellville, Arkansas, with Legionnaire Jock Davis. He's a World War II veteran. He's also a member of our local post here, and we're at Russellville, Arkansas. And with us today on the camera would be Phoenix Merton, and we're going to be talking to Jock, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his story. Let's start with this. Where was you born, Jock? Where was you born?
I was born in Malvern, Arkansas,
When?
in 1924,
So your birthday is when?
October 12, 1924.
So you're
And
about
tomorrow I'll be 100 years
to
old.
turn 100 years old.
Yes.
All right. So do you have your mom and dad? Where did they raise you at?
Well, they were raised not too far from Malvern, Arkansas, and I grew up in Prescott, Arkansas, which is in South Arkansas. And I played football and basketball in high school, and I'm just going to pour it out, everything that I've done up to date. And we moved to Prescott, Arkansas. My dad was an insurance salesman, and we traveled a lot, but then we were stationed there. Well, lo and behold, a Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor, and it came time to go. I had two older brothers that entered, one was in the Marines and the other was a bomber pilot. And I told my mama when I finished high school, I said, Mama, I got to go to war. And she said, son, it only leaves me with one boy. And I said, well, we'll keep you in funds where you can get along fine, but I've got to go fight for my country. So I got on a bus, drove to Little Rock. They've taken us back to Camp Robinson. They have outfitted us with clothing. I remember this big sergeant said, what size boots you wear, boy? I said, a 7.5. Here it said, there's a 9. You'll learn to wear them. And the same with all my clothing was a lot bigger than I wore. But I wound up in Oregon, Camp Abbott, Oregon, which is a combat engineer outfit. And I wondered what I was doing there, but I found out not long after that. Anyway, I went through basic training, and they came to me and they said, Davis, you're gonna go home, hug your mama, be back here in 10 days, and we're shipping you overseas. So I went to a bus station and got on a bus, and there's a pretty little 18-year-old girl sitting there. And I said, may I sit by you? She said, sure. So I sat down and we talked all the way to the bus station. So I got there and stood up, and the bus was loaded with people. And I put on my cap and I said, people, I'm going to Arkansas to hug my mama, and I'll be back here in 10 days, and they're gonna ship me overseas, and I don't know where I'm going or if I'll make it back. And I turned to that young lady and I said, could I have a kiss? And she laid a big one on me. I mean a big one. I tasted lipstick all the way to Arkansas. So I went home and spent those days with my mama, and it really tore her up, me too, leaving, cause I had a baby brother that later joined the Army. But then we reported to the train station, and when they gave us fatigues and gave us khakis, I knew we was going to the South Pacific. So we put us on a ship, and we didn't know where we was going. In 31 days, we landed on a beach in New Guinea, and Oro Bay, New Guinea, which was a jungle. And we had to fight the Japanese, and we had to do our work. We were building runways for P-38 airways for our fighters, and we had to lay metal mesh down because of the moisture in the ground. And when one of our P-38s would come in and land on that metal, water would shoot 12 feet in the air. But we never lost an aircraft, and we shot every Jap out of the air that was going. Well, I stayed there about, and I might say that General MacArthur said in his report that out of 1,000 troops that landed in New Guinea, half of them would die with malaria, and that's true. Well, lo and behold, I got dengue fever at the age of 18, and I'd have died if they hadn't got me some help. Well, I reported to a tent, which a hospital, and they decided that they didn't have enough to take care of this old boy. So all of a sudden, as the ship appeared at the dock, they loaded me on the ship, and I wound up in Australia. I thought that I had gone to heaven, and I joined a mount making unit there till I got over this fever, and then I rejoined my combat engineer outfit, and we were on our way to Manila, Philippines, and it was really a surprise to me because we battled the Japanese in the city of Manila, and we took Manila. And I remember seeing, and it bothered me as a young man to see all those dead Japanese outside of Manila. And I thought, these are some mama's boys too. And it really bothered me. But anyway, General MacArthur, and everybody remembers who General MacArthur was. General MacArthur went to Australia to protect them from the Japanese of being taken. Well, he came back, and it's funny that we were in Manila at the same time. So one morning, I was waiting to catch a ship back home, and I decided to go down and take a walk down on Main Street. And I was walking down, and lo and behold, here's General MacArthur coming out of his GHQ and getting in a field weapon to ride down the street. And for some reason or other, he looked over at me and grinned, and I popped him a big one, and he laid one on me. And he died laughing when he saluted me, but he had his corncob pipe in his mouth. But that was one of the high times. Well, it wasn't but about 2 weeks that a ship appeared, and I boarded. And there were 600 soldiers on that ship. And it took us 31 days to San Francisco. And all of a sudden, we were down below, and the whistle blew. That means everybody come topside. So we came up there, and there was a Golden Gate Bridge. Every man on that ship was crying like a baby, me included. And I get chills when I think about it. There wasn't a car on the Golden Gate Bridge. There wasn't anything but American flags, people with bullhorns hollering, "We love you, we're glad you're back home, God bless you." So we stayed at Camp Stoneman, California for a week. And the first supper we had that night was a half a head of lettuce and a pound of a T-bone steak. And we hadn't had any meat or any vegetables in forever. So then it took us 10 days to get from Camp Stoneman, California to Fort Chaffee, Arkansas. And back in those days, the railroad went right up in the camp. And of course, first thing I did, I grabbed a telephone and called my mama and told her I was coming home in about a week. And I caught a train over to Texarkana, caught another train to Prescott, Arkansas. I had about a 50-pound duffel bag, had to walk a quarter of a mile, and I knocked on the door and I heard my mama scream. I get kind of tearful when I think about the union I had with my mom. And she said, "Sonny, you don't know how happy I am that you're home." She said, many days I wondered if a man in a pretty suit would walk up on the porch and say, "I'm here to inform you." I said, I'm thank the Lord, Mama, I'm back for good. So the GI Bill had passed. We had heard about it on the ship, that we could get a free education. And I couldn't have gone to college there in no way. So I had two buddies that had gotten out, and I called them. I said, "Where are y'all?" And they said, "In Russellville, Arkansas." I said, "Where is that?" And he told me, and I didn't have any idea. So I caught a bus the next day. I came to Russellville and joined Tech. And while I was in Tech, I met my wife, and I could tell you a story there. I was over in the Rock Dorm where the men stayed, and I told my buddy, I said, "I've got a good idea about us getting a girlfriend." And he said, "You're the smartest man I've ever seen." I said, "Well, let me tell you." I said, "What we'll do is go over there and hide behind some bushes. And the girl drives up, we think it looks pretty good. We'll, under the pledge of carrying the luggage up, we'll carry the luggage up." Well, this pretty little blonde gets out of the car, and I said, "I'll take her luggage." And you had two bags that weighed about 100 pounds apiece, and her aunt was the last of the big time spenders. She flipped me a coin, a quarter. And I thought, well, this is not much. But anyway, that was my first meeting, and a year later we were married at Tech, and we both finished Arkansas Tech University. I've been in the business world. I worked 50 years in poultry, chickens, and I've had a wonderful life. But I think I made a statement that my daughter asked me, said, "Daddy, why did you join the American Legion?" I said, "I can't stay away from the military." And here I am. So that's my story.
Well, let's go back a little bit and get some more details out of you. I want to talk to you about when you first went in the military. You said you went to, first you went to Camp Robinson. So, well, what kind of experience was that? Was that just like, "Hey, we're going to send you to the next stop," or did you receive any kind of?
Everything was wonderment. You wonder what was going to happen next. And you didn't have to worry because they called you boy all the time. "Boy, get over here. We're going to dress you up and give you boots and all that stuff you needed." But
So when you got to your basic training, what kind of experience was that?
oh man, I'm telling you, they put us through rigorous training, how to use a bayonet and hand-to-hand combat. They'd put the length of a man, all a bunch of sticks tied together, and you put a bayonet on your M1, and they'd teach you how to charge, back off, charge, back off. And not only that, but we learned how to throw hand grenades, and that's why I'm hard of hearing today, because they didn't give you anything during those days for years, and that surprises me. Today you get all kind of equipment for years, but everything that I learned in physical fitness. You had to run 5 miles every morning. And these guys that smoked a lot, of course, I was in good shape playing football and basketball, but I was in great shape, and we had to help these old boys that were smoking, had a hard time getting over the wall, you know, and half of them we dumped in the water. We had a good time doing that, you know. But then we'd have a big, some logs thrown around about 20 feet, and they give everybody a pair of boxing gloves, and it didn't make any difference how big you were. They'd put so many men in there, and boy, the first time I felt a little wind go by me, I went down. But it was an experience I'll never forget. And
What would you say was the most challenging about it?
I think the most challenging was getting ready to kill somebody. I mean, it was really fearful thinking about when you'd jab that wood and jerk it. And it's supposed to be an replica of a body when you thrust that M1 in and pull it back out. And you could see maybe a man on the other end of that. But it'd be better than him getting that for you. And of course, we learned in combat, man-to-man combat, because the Japanese were real good at it. And I learned how to do hand-to-hand combat. Oh, I learned a lot, boy. And I wasn't but, you know, I went into service at 17 years old. I lied about my age, and my mama signed my papers, and I left her crying, and that was a sad day.
Were you homesick?
Yes, sir. I was so homesick that I'd wet my pillow, but I wouldn't want the other guys to hear me or see me, so I'd cover my mouth up good. And I went to see the chaplain, that didn't help me any, and I went to see several guys that I needed to talk to. I just had to get over it. I think the worst thing, it was at Christmas time, and Perry Como was saying, "I'll be home for Christmas." That's the biggest lie I ever heard in my life. But I look back and I wouldn't give anything for my service, for my country.
Now, you mentioned you were a combat engineer.
Yeah.
That's also what I did in the Army. I was a combat
did you?
engineer. But I went to Fort Leonard Wood for my training. And we did a lot of bridge building and explosives and landmines, that sort of thing. Was that similar to what you
Yeah.
learned to do?
In fact, we knew about Leonard Wood, and in fact, we thought we were going there. And I understand from my son-in-law that Camp Abbott, Oregon is still there, but it's not in force. But the fort itself is still there.
How did you feel about leaving home to go over to
Oh man, it was tough.
Was it hard to
I didn't
leave?
let Mama see me, but when I got on that bus, I cried all the way to Little Rock. And you want to turn around and say, no, I'll let them call me. But I already had two brothers, one a Marine and one a bomber pilot already in, and I said, I got to go help my brothers. And then later on, I don't know if you read my book or not,
I did.
Brothers 4.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
But I wrote a book about my brothers and our life together and all military.
Now, you didn't stop your military career at Tech. You re-entered, right?
No, I was a 217 engineers.
Okay, so
And I was a company commander out there. And thank goodness I run into guys now still that said, we sure are glad you were our commander. Said we had a good time, we worked hard, we got the job done.
So you entered the National Guard after you
Yeah,
after you returned from active duty, then you joined the Guard?
yeah, joined the Guard.
Okay. And
I've
then
been
how
to-
did you get your commission there?
And you guys tied me down and got me in this unit, which I love everybody there, and they're a great bunch.
Did you get your commission after you graduated Tech to be an officer?
Yeah, I did. After I got in the Guard, Colonel Bob Young was our 217 engineer battalion commander. And boy, those summers at Fort Polk were really tough.
I've spent some time at Fort Polk.
Have you?
Yeah.
Boy, what a place it is. Man.
Leesville.
Yeah, Leesville.
Yeah.
I got a haircut one time down there. My mama didn't know me when I came home.
So how long did you spend in the Guard?
I guess I stayed in the Guard probably 6 or 8 years.
And you went active duty for Korea during
Yeah.
that time?
During Korea.
So you actually served
Yeah.
in World War II and Korea?
That's right. But I got lucky. At the military base commander, I had to report to in Little Rock. There was an old colonel, had a mustache, and he said, "Boy," said, "what can you do best?" I said, "Well, I won the state championship typist when I was at Arkansas Tech." He said, "How'd you like to stay here instead of going to Korea?" I said, "Thank you, Lord." And I was stationed there for 4 years in Little Rock during the Korean conflict. I saw a lot of boys go off to war, and it wasn't a fun sight.
Right. And so, did you get in on the Vietnam situation too, or?
No, that was a little bit after me.
So how long total did you serve?
37 years,
37 years. So you started out as a private,
yes.
and what were you when you retired?
I'm major,
Major, you were company commander,
yes,
battalion commander?
yes.
What was that experience like? Did you,
And I always treated my men like I'd like to be treated.
that's a way to look at it. A lot of,
And I don't think that I had an enemy that served under me anywhere. And I loved every one of my men. And if they had a personal problem, they knew they could come to me and we'd talk it out, get it done. And today I still love everybody that walks this earth. I do.
you got any advice for the younger generation?
Yeah, if you want to be as old as I am, stay busy.
Stay busy.
Stay busy. I lost my wife 2.5 years ago, and that's probably the worst thing that's happened to me. And we was married 74 years, and she put up a lot with me, tell you that. But I love everybody I meet. I'm telling you, I don't have an enemy I know of. I don't want any. So,
What's your opinion on today's military?
depending on what,
Your opinion on today's military?
I'd change some things. I think they try to pet them too much. I mean, when you get away from mom and get away from home, boy, you need to toughen up, because all you got's a man up there, if you're a believer. And boy, I'm a believer.
I am too. Yep. Yep. Is there anything else you want to add to your story, or?
I'd just like to say, Cole, I was working in my yard one day up there. I think I've been in here about 2 years. And Cole walked up and he said, "You Mr. Davis?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "I'm Jock Davis." And we shook hands. He said, "How'd you like to join my unit down here?" I said, "Well, I hadn't thought about it." And
Now, Cole was our previous commander.
yeah, wonderful guy.
Great guy, yeah.
And I said, I've gotten away from the military, but it sounds interesting. So I joined this unit, and it's the best thing I ever done in my life. Seems like everything I do is the best thing I've done in my life. I don't know if it's gonna get bad.
Would you advise other veterans to take interest in American Legion? And
I sure would. I sure would.
what do you think is the best thing about it?
Well, relationships, because these guys have been through what I've been through, And if I can help anybody, if I find somebody that needs help, I'll go to them and offer. And I found this unit to be the best thing, really, that I've ever done. Because I look forward to come to the meetings, and I look forward to just, I like to eat, you know.
Yeah, we like to do that around here.
Yeah. But I love everybody down here.
So would you, if you could go back, would you do anything different? As far
In
as,
my life.
I mean, as far as joining the military or how all
No,
that
I
went?
think I'd follow the same steps. The worst thing about any of it was listening to Perry Como sing and leaving my mama. Boy, I hated to leave mama.
When you graduated tech, did you ever go back to Prescott, or did you just stay here in Russellville?
Well, Russellville.
So did your mom ever come to Russellville to stay, or?
Yeah, my mama, of course, she rode a bus from Prescott down by Texarkana, you know. She rode a bus up here, and back then, not many people know it, but they had trailer cities at Tech. Were you here then?
No.
There were 3 trailer cities. One of them I lived in, and I ran for mayor and got it, and got my rent free after I married. And my trailer city sits where the basketball court is today. And there was also a runway there, and I learned to fly an airplane at Tech on the GI
wow.
Bill.
Wow. So there's a lot of changes at Tech from then to now.
Well, that road stopped there at Whataburger, you know. And we had a runway that ran straight at Whataburger.
Wow.
I bet some people about choked, some were for pilots.
Have you got any funny stories from your time in the military?
No, I probably will think of a dozen of them. I do have. I think the funniest one was, and it wasn't funny because I meant business when I asked that gal to kiss me.
Yeah.
And boy, she meant business too.
Did you play any pranks on your buddies in the military, or they play pranks on you, or
Did they pay what?
play pranks on you, like, you know, tease each other or whatever?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So there was a lot of kidding back and forth and that sort of thing
Oh, yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
What'd you do on your off time?
Well, my off time, are you talking about overseas?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, overseas, the main thing we did, in the jungle, the Japanese had treated the natives awful. And that land is owned by the Australians, and it's big banana orchards and stuff there. And I talked to several of the natives, and they told stories of rape and incest and stuff. And one guy told me that he broke into a colonel's tent one night and cut the throats of 4 colonels. So he
Wow.
was tickled to death about that, killed them all.
Mm.
But one thing was funny, there was a kuna grass all around the place, and it was almost as big as corn growing. And we had to keep down rats as big as dogs, little dogs. And we all kept that grass down, so we heard a big commotion one day. And I peeped in there, they was in dancing, and they had the machetes, and they were after a kangaroo. There's a lot of kangaroos, because they were gonna kill it and eat it.
Oh.
And boy, I mean, one of them hit him with his tail and knocked him cold as a cucumber.
Oh.
But they finally got that thing, and then that night, you'd hear the drums off in the wilderness of the feast. They was eating that kangaroo.
Oh, wow. Wow. What type of food did you eat while you were there?
Well, sea ration, that's all we had.
Oh, wow.
Cans and boxes. And when I got to Australia, boy, it was a lot different. We had some GI cooks there.
Right. Well, I don't know what else to ask you, but I know you're sort of a local celebrity here in
Well,
Russellville.
I don't know about that. I love my church.
I know, didn't you tell me the governor's gonna make a Jock Davis Day?
Well, I say this, that this unit has been the world to me. I love coming to this unit, and I always will. Everybody, of course, the ex-military love each other.
Yeah.
I don't care what you say.
Yeah, we tease each other a lot, but
Yeah, we have a lot of fun.
yeah, right. Well, I don't know anything else to ask you, if there's anything you wanna
Can I
say.
take that lady with me?
I think she's got a husband.
Has she got a husband? You like him a little bit?
For the most part.
Well, we can't all be 100%, you know. But he's lucky. Tell him this old man said he hit a home run when he got you.
I sure will. I'll let him know.
And I'm glad y'all sat down. That was real nice.
I gotta get you home so you can go eat now.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you so much.
Thanks so much for setting up.
Well, thank you so much for coming and
Yeah,
for everything
My
you've done.
pleasure.
And thank you
thank
for
you
your
so much for your
service.
service. It's amazing to meet you, sir.
Fine young man.
Yes, thank you for your service. I get that.